Okay, so here we are. This is for the 13th of February. And what we're asking today, and first of all, these are kind of important terms for us to know. Returning lasajas, hasavat aveda, obligated to announce, chayav lahakriz, findings, meaning stuff you get to keep, mitziot shelo. Renouncing ownership is called hefker. Tau, or tell me a case like this, is ketzad, and change is shinui. So what we did in class after our quiz today was we kind of asked some questions about, and I'd like you to kind of list three ideas that kind of come into play when if you're on the ground, if you're walking along and you find 25 cents on the ground, what are you thinking about in terms of chayav lakriz? Are you obligated to announce those things, or is it mitziot shelo, meaning I can actually keep that item, versus the $100 bill? What's the difference? What's kind of what goes into kind of your, so kind of give kind of what's going through your head with the 25 cents. Give me two or three ideas, and give me two or three ideas with the $100 bill. Let's do the same for the if it's a $20 single dollar bill with a rubber band around it, and $21 bills that are scattered around. What are kind of the different things going through your head when you think about am I chayav lakris or mitziot shelo? Um, um, and what about fruit that is scattered? And kind of how is this a different case than kind of the money? Fruit that's scattered versus fruit that's kind of in a bundle. And what are the thoughts that kind of go into place for chayav lakriz? If it's chayav lakriz, meaning I need to announce that I found this and someone's going to find it, and mitziot shelo. Um, and the last one, a new pasta maker in its box versus a used pasta maker. What are the kind of the things that go into play? And one thing we talked about here is one key piece in the kind of idea of, do I, the loser, go back and try to look for something? It's all about, if I go back and find my object in the possession of someone else, how will they know that I actually that's my object? So answer that question. How will they know? And the way they'll know is they'll know because there's some kind of something called a siman, a sign, a distinguishing marking, or what the Talmud also sometimes calls a shinui, or kind of a change in that. So thinking about that idea, answer this following question: like, which one of these, the new pasta maker or the used pasta maker, will have a potential shinui or potential siman, something that you can be like, oh yeah, that's mine. I know it's mine because, right? And this is going to be the primary reason why we're going to say if something is new and never been used before, there's no way that someone who comes back and says that's mine can kind of claim it in a way that's believable. Whereas a used one, there's going to be something wrong with it. There's going to be something finicky, some kind of idiosyncrasy that developed, a little kind of a scratch here, or something that only you, the owner, would know. So that's going to become important because if I am the loser of this item, I'm trying to ask myself, is it worth it for me to go back? And what's going to go into play is if it's going to be worth it. Is this an expensive item? Meaning, should I put in the effort to go back? And once I do find it, how am I going to be able to prove that it's actually mine? And then how does those two ideas play out with a homemade loaf of bread versus a store-made loaf of bread? And how is that going to make us determine whether, if I find one of these or the other, it's going to be chayav lakriz or mitziot shelo? Again, there are two places, and I know we went over this in the video last night. There are two places that the Torah talks about Hashavat Avidah. And based upon these two ideas, how would the Torah actually answer the following questions? If you find an item that is not yours, what must you do with it? Is there any item that you're allowed to? So you should be answering these questions in your homework. Is there any item you're allowed to keep if you find it? What do you do if you can't find the owner? How long must you wait if the object until the owner comes? What can you do with the object? Can the finder use it or not? And is there a point after the finder has waited 1 week, 1 year, 10 years, that the object becomes the finder's? And you're going to see that the Torah makes that very clear. And the reason I'm bringing this up is there's a radical kind of rethinking about this when it comes to the Mishnah, because according to the Torah, Nothing is mitziot shelo. There's every single thing that you find you are chayav lehakriz. I hope you saw that in the text itself. So, final questions before we move on to the Mishnah. I just want to talk about the psychological mindset of the loser, the one who has lost an object. What's going to make what is the loser thinking about to make him decide if he's going to come back for this lost object? And the finder, what are the finders needs to think about if he decides if he should actually announce that or keep that object? Okay, and that's it for the video for today. We're going to start on the Mishnah tomorrow.